All right. I think we live. We are live, I think. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Power of One podcast. I am Jeff Ingram, your host. I'm so honored to be here tonight, to be your host, to be the person that has this kind of conversation with you. This podcast is dedicated to creative, purpose-driven leaders, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, business owners, people who know that there's a purpose that they were sent here and they're driven to discover what it is, whatever it looks like. And on this show, we have conversations with other purpose-driven leaders. Matter of fact, we call ourselves reality creators, people that were sent here to create reality. We have conversations about the journey, what it looks like. We talk to people that have been doing it, not people that have learned about it, the theory of it, and then want to go make money off it, but people that actually have been leading. And so with no further ado, we're going to hop in tonight's episode. This is a very special episode because tonight we are featuring two of the guests that are going to be a part of the 8th annual Power of One conference, the 8th annual Power of One. I don't know a lot of people that have 8th annual conferences, but the 8th annual, and it's the Power of One conference. Oh my goodness. We have two guests that are going to be a part of the 8th annual. One of the guests is not the first time. One guest, like this guest has been a part of the family. Y'all just don't know. And see, now's the opportunity to unveil this guest, this part of the family, of the team, to the world, because, man, wow. So no further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest tonight. We have first Dr. Katrina Mallory, and we have he's going to be a future Dr. Armando Rigby, but he's Mr. Armando Rigby for now, right? I'm going to welcome you guys to the Power of One podcast. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
I'm so happy that y'all are here. I'm happy that we're having a great conversation today about thriving. You guys are both going to be part of the Power of One conference. I'd like for you guys to introduce yourself, because bios, I've read your bios lots of times and I know you personally, but it's nothing like when you tell people who you are. It's nothing like, you know what I'm saying, hearing it from yourself. So if you will introduce yourselves to the world.
All right, I guess I'll go first.
Ladies first, of course.
Ladies first. Okay. Well, I am Katrina Mallory, and I am a native of Florida. However, I've been in Georgia for about 28 years now, and I transitioned from a small country town to this big city, straight out of college. I'm a FAMU Rattler graduate, proud Rattler. Just celebrated a homecoming. It was an epic return, by the way.
Look like y'all had fun. Look like
we did. So I am, however, an educator first, and started out as an elementary school teacher, and then kind of transitioned into leadership and was an assistant principal and elementary principal for 8 years. And then I transitioned into higher education. And so my background is in leadership, teacher leadership development, training, curriculum writing, and I also have a technology background. So I'm into digital content creation and digitizing material and content. And so I currently have my own consulting firm, Vision Architects, Inc. And that is where I was fortunate to meet Mr. Ingram and his beautiful wife and work with them. And just truly honored to be a part of the Power of One conference this year, and really, really looking forward to just being able to share some wonderful information, some tips and some things that I've learned along the way through bumps and bruises. But by the grace of God, I am here and honored to be a part of this.
Awesome, amazing. I told you, she's amazing. I told you. I have to say her company's amazing. Just some amazing work with our curriculum. Oh my goodness. So Yes. Thank you, Dr. Mallory.
You're welcome.
All right, so I guess I'm next.
Yes, you are.
My name is Armando Rigby. I am originally from the Bahamas, but I now live in the beautiful Turks and Caicos, which is the Bahamas South. Yeah, I work at one of the well, I would tell you the #1 resort company here in Turks and Caicos, Grace Bay Club. We have a four resorts in the chain that I work for. An executive manager there. My background is a lot of stuff. Used to be into construction. I worked, but it has been in management for the past few years. I've been in management in various different capacity. I am a John Maxwell certified speaker, trainer, and coach. And that is something that I absolutely love. Love to speak. I love to talk. Right? So, and that's no wonder. My educational background, I'm now currently actually at this age, I'm studying business and law at the university in London. 1 more year to go. The pandemic kind of put me back a bit, but one more year to go, and I should be done with that. I don't know who.
Awesome.
I don't know who in their 40s decides to study law.
Hey, smart people.
Right. So yeah, and I'm a husband, a father. I have 3 beautiful kids. A daughter who's 20, 2 sons who drive me crazy, but I wouldn't have it no other way. And of course, you guys met my beautiful wife. I mean, who could be asked for anything more, right? So good.
Right.
Who could? It's amazing, man. Thank you. I told you he's amazing. It's again, you see, I'm smiling. I always smile, but it's a great smile right now. This time that we're in right now is an amazing time. I'm just very happy, like on so many levels, for me personally, for us as a company, for us as a team, as a collective, and it's for us as humanity. It's an amazing time right now. And you know, we have, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you have survived the pandemic. Right?
Right.
That's something that a lot of people can't say.
For sure.
That's true.
And we not only survive, but we're thriving in it. To thrive means to like grow vigorously. Y'all know that? Like to grow vigorously, to grow in abundance, not just regular growth, but like something extra on it. And so around the world, there are leaders at their capacities right now that are barely surviving, let alone thriving. Right? There are some that's surviving, right? But not quite thriving. And then there are some that are thriving as well. And there's some key things that are different, like that I know pandemic taught me, and I'm sure you guys in your capacity of leadership and life, there's some things that taught you that you had to learn in order to thrive, right? And so what would you say, like right now, what would say one thing be? Because I know you're going to be talking about this at the Power of One conference. By the way, let me talk about that right now. So November 4th through the 6th, that's tomorrow. We kick it off with our VIP sessions, and then we have our general admission sessions. So it's going to be this whole weekend. It's going to be epic, right? You guys are going to be 2 speakers there, and our theme is thrive. That's why we keep throwing this word thrive around, right? And so what would you guys want to share just a little bit, just one little tidbit nugget? You say what you're going to be talking about, what you learned through this pandemic, through surviving, being a survivor of COVID-19. Ladies first, always.
All right. I would say the main lesson that I've learned in these last almost 2 years with the pandemic is the word that comes to mind is adapt, and then chameleon. I don't know why, but I mean, those are the two words that,
Yeah.
seem to sum up like what I've had to do professionally, as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, and you're part of a family, you learn to adapt to the situation when it arrives, right? So, but this pandemic has placed on another level, right, where I've had to be a chameleon, so when I'm in this setting, this is what it needs to be. When I'm in this setting, this is, and so I think adaptability and, and just being able to adjust to whatever the situation is. The pandemic has really, really taught me that professionally and personally. And so, I'm really grateful that my business is still up and running and like you said, thriving. I didn't lose a client and gained new clients. Thank God. Right. So that's what I would, say as far as adaptability, and then just being a chameleon. I had a really good mentor years ago when I was a young teacher, and just trying to decide on what I should get my degree in. And I was in education, and she shared some really good advice, as far as don't box yourself into just one lane in education. You want to be a chameleon, so you can be able to, if you want to be in corporate America in education, you can be. If you want to be in higher ed, you can be. If you want to be in, the public general ed sector. And so, be a chameleon in every level. And so that's why the whole word chameleon, and then adaptability, how whatever their environment in, that's the color they become, right? So I think the pandemic really, really taught me that. And it really pushed me out of my comfort zone to kind of, just adapt and learn new skills or enhance the skills that I have. So that's what
I like that. In fact, like there's, at this point in my life, I don't know what's going to be at another point or at that point. At this point in my life, I want, like, when I die, when that is, I plan to be here till I'm like 90, 95, strong, still strong, like, but I want, like, on my plaque or wherever they put it, I don't know if they're going to cremate me. I don't know what they're going to do, right? But I want, like, there's a passage that's in the Bible that I want to be there, is like, I became all things to all people so I could win some. That literally is like where my goal in life is, to be able to say that I did that.
Right.
Because I found in my life, I've had to be a chameleon. Like in fact, all of our lives, like you're saying, like that's necessary.
Right.
To have that capacity, right? To thrive.
Yes,
otherwise you'll be sitting there.
Absolutely.
Stuck, So I love that. That's great. That hit me right here.
Yeah, we were all and still are in survival mode when we think about this pandemic. We're trying to do it. We had to adjust our way of living, just so that we could continue to live, right? And hopefully not get, die from, the virus, or whatever. But that's a very well abrupt, quick taught lesson we all had to learn.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that. Yeah, you're right. I love it. What about you, Mr. Rigby?
So I'll say for me, it's simple. The pandemic taught me that life goes on, so live it. Right. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. When the pandemic first started and people started dying from COVID, you heard about people who knew a friend who had somebody who died. And then as the pandemic starts to go on, now it is people you directly know or close to or connected to. So I don't know if you ever saw this E-Trade commercial. It's an E-Trade commercial with this, it's called Mount Everest. So the commercial is this young lady, she's a little girl. She's sitting down in the front of a television, and on the television it says, Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on the face of the planet. And her little brother says, dream on. And then what she does is, this song comes on, you can get it if you really want. And she has a little jar and she says, Everest Fund. She puts money inside it. And then as the years go on, the jar gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And she just keeps adding till finally she makes it to Mount Everest. But she's like 90 and on a walking cane. And the guys are speaking a foreign language. They said she saved all her life to get here. Right? And the other guy was like, man, maybe she should have invested. Right? So it's an E-Trade commercial. They talk about investing, but let's take that. You know, we shouldn't be investing in things that are going to help us to prosper now. Live life now.
That's it.
You save all of your life to go on a trip to Mount Everest, and then you can't even enjoy the trip.
Right.
You can't enjoy the trip. You know, and so COVID taught me. In the middle of COVID, I invested in the John Maxwell team and spend money. It wasn't cheap to join.
Right. That's not cheap.
by John Maxwell, right? In the middle of the pandemic. So if not now, when?
That's
right?
It.
If you have this idea in your head, if you have this thing that is burning a hole in your chest, if you don't do it now, when?
Right.
Because any day, I had a friend recently who passed from COVID. He and I grew up together. He was one year younger than me. He went into the hospital on a Tuesday, and by Friday he was dead.
Wow.
Right? He had COVID. He was in a guy who was sick. You know, he was a person who thought was sickly. He's young, so he was like 42. So he's not an old man by any stretch. And he died from COVID. So every idea that he had, every dream that he had, every vision or anything that he had in his head is dead with him. Right? So COVID teach me, listen, life goes on, so live it.
That's it.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow,
true.
man. It does. And listen, if it doesn't, then it's over anyway.
It's over anyway.
Right.
And not to make light of it, but like every day it's purpose. It's a reason that you still moving around. We're all it's a reason why. It could be a plethora of reasons, right? It could be. Which one do you choose to let drive you? You know,
that's so key. You know, I don't want to sound preachy, right? But there's a scripture that I like, a Bible story that I actually like. Okay. Right, and it's the story of the lepers who are outside of the city of Jerusalem, and the Syrian army is in and camp around them, and the lepers hungry. There's a famine in the city. The lepers say, "Listen, man, if we stay here, we can dead." Right? So I talk in my Caribbean dialect now. If we stay here, we can dead. Right? If we go in the city, there's a famine in the city. If we go in the city, we can dead. Yeah. You know, let's go to the enemy. If they kill us, at least a bullet to the head quicker. Right? We can't just hang around. If we hang around, we can dead. Let's go for it. Let's take a chance. Right? And I mean, we know what happened there, but I'm saying what you can do if whatever you're dealing with so bad, it killing you, you can dead. Right. Right. So you might as well live.
That's true. And live now. Live now.
Yeah, live now. Live now. Agreed.
Yeah. Wow, man. Live now. Somebody need to hear that, man. Like, live right now, today.
Yeah.
Don't settle to be alive.
Exactly.
Right. Live now.
Live.
That's
For
true.
sure, man.
There are people and things that are waiting for you to be moving around to go ahead and push forward, to come forth in life. I'm not talking like mystical. I'm not talking, fairy tale fantasy. I'm talking like real life. Sure. I don't know what you deal with. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you have dealt with. I don't know what that is. But I can guarantee you, I promise you this. You already have access to everything you need to do what you need to do. You already have access to it.
Man, I tell my son, sorry, Jeff.
No worries.
I always tell my son, like if you are alive, then you are alive for a purpose. And the world needs something that you possess. And in order for the world to get that, you have to fully manifest and come to fruition everything that's in you for the world to have, or it's going to be deprived of something, right? You're not a waste of space, right? Like I always tell my team I talk to in the morning. Every morning we have a pump up in the morning before we go on the floor to do our daily work. I just say to them, and I say it in a funny way, but I say, listen, man, if you like cigars, right? You work hard. You like cigars, buy the best cohibas, right? Don't buy Black and Mild. Buy the best. Enjoy whatever you like. And if you like it, if you like shoes, then buy red bottoms. Don't let nobody tell you.
Now you're talking my like, yes. You know the girl is gonna come in when you're talking about buying red bottoms and Louboutins. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. You're right.
So tell me this, guys. What would you say? So like we talked about adapting because of COVID, right? There were situations that we never faced as leaders, that we never faced. Like matter of fact, the world, everybody in the world had this in common at that point in time. We had never faced this ever.
Right.
I had to figure it out. Like, and it was a day-to-day thing. It's a day-to-day thing. Now we're kind of we're in like another phase. Like we're in another phase of COVID, right? Where the world has been reset. And so in the resetting, like what are some things that you discovered as a leader in your capacity, right? That have gotten better because of the reset? What are some things you would say?
Well, I mean, the one thing that I know just as leaders, period, we were not ready for, and a lot of people are not trained to deal with is what, we were thrust into, which is called crisis leadership, right? I mean, a lot of people, you're not trained. Some people aren't trained in crisis leadership and they're not equipped to be able to deal with the crisis, when they arise. And let alone one that is kind of like dragging on for 2 years. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Usually president, high up people. Those are people in crisis training.
That's it. Not little small person like me, small entrepreneur, or maybe a small business, with 25 employees or something like that. You really, if your business is not that tight where you're really just having to worry about and train yourself or your leaders to deal with crisis when they arrive, that is definitely something that we had to do. We had to reset. We had to really, really take a look at how we're going to do business differently, because it started out with how are we going to live life differently. I mean, the normal is no more normal. I mean, this has been our new normal, as everybody says, for the last year and a half. And it sucked. And it still does. We're still walking around with masks and all of that. And so just really, really just changing your mindset. Some people are still stuck in that old mindset of like, what, it's going to get back to normal. Nah, this is the normal. And this is the normal you need to adjust and reset and get ready to move, forward to. And just being able to deal with that with your mental state. I mean, just, seeing my kids and trying to walk them through it as I'm trying to deal with it and go through it as a mom and a wife, and let them know, what, this is affecting me too, and remembering that it's affecting my employees. So the whole reset, and just really just embracing the crisis leadership role that I had to step in, was something that you just kind of have to just, you just say, oh, it is what it is. Let's get it, right?
Yeah.
That's the approach you kind of have to take with that, so.
Yeah, so listen, you're a mom. Talk to me about that. Like, I know we had a lot of conversations during the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but it was I love speaking to you and hearing the mom side of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what would you say to some moms who are leaders, who are trailblazers like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be something you would say to them right now?
Well, I would just say keep holding it down, Mom, just the way you have been, right? I mean, just really, really don't get discouraged. I think moms, we wear a lot of hats anyway, and it depends if you're a single mom or if you got your boys right next to you and y'all riding this thing together, right? Just don't allow this moment to overwhelm you. Don't, and that's the only way that I really, really have learned to survive and take care of me first so that I can then take care of mine. Right. And so that would be the advice. Don't feel guilty about self-time. Don't feel guilty about self-love. Don't feel guilty about needing that moment away. And I had to grow into that. I did. I had to say, it's okay for me to step away. And thank God I was blessed with a man that understood that and allows me to do that. So if I need a nap,
a salute to him.
then we get that nap in, right? And then I'm refreshed and I can come back, and help with the household. And then for the single moms who may not have that Boaz yet, right? You got this. That's what I would tell her. You've been doing it. You've been holding it down. And, don't get discouraged and just get you a good village. Your girlfriends are usually your corner, your village, or the couple, the couples group thing. Just making sure you stay connected and with yourself first and understanding your limits. And then, just live one day at a time and live in that moment. Like we said, live now for sure. That's probably the advice I would give them because that's the only way you're able to keep your head above the water.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love it. I'm not a mom, but I felt encouraged hearing that.
I know, right?
All right, Amada, what about you, man? What would you say, man, from this whole experience? Like, what have you taken from it? What is, what's your stance on this?
I got to jump on what Dr. Mallory said, and he's talking about, the crisis leadership thing. For me, right, anybody could lead in fair weather, when everything going good, like I'm at a resort. It's easy to make a schedule when we have 100% occupancy or 98% occupancy. Everybody's going to be happy because everybody's going to get all their hours.
Right.
But when we had 36% occupancy, and I got to give some people 3 days off or 4 days off, that's when it became a little difficult. So for me, I'll tell you the biggest thing I've seen in the pivot or the new norm is, just for example, the company that I work for, we have what we call handmade habits. And then we have, of course, the pillars of the organization. The number one pillar of the organization is outstanding employees delivering exceptional service, right? So that's the number one pillar. And then one of our handmade habits says, be asset friendly, protected. Now, when I'm certain when they thought about that particular handmade habit, they were talking about tangible assets, mops and buckets and brooms and whatever things that you would use to get your job done.
Right.
When you think about the number one pillar being outstanding employees, and you think about a handmade habit that says be asset friendly, protected, I'm thinking about protecting the number one pillar of your organization. And the pandemic has shown us that people matter more than anything, more than whatever is going on. People matter. You look at what is happening with the supply chain backlog and everything that's about to hit us that even hit us yet. The next
right.
All of that is because people were sent home.
That's right.
Because people weren't in place to get it done. So no matter how whatever happens in the world, know how advanced technology becomes, we saw during this pandemic how much people mattered. When we talk about what happened in New York with the frontline workers, that's still happening now. When you want food delivered to your home with Uber Eats or whatever
absolutely
thing it is, people matter. And I see more organizations are seeing more and more how people matter. And they mattered all along. But this pandemic showed us even more. It amplified that. And I think as leaders, it causes us to have this shift into now not only looking at how this is going to affect my schedule, but also looking out for the well-being of my employee. And so, like I say, when I think about outstanding employees delivering exceptional service and being asset friendly and protecting it, I'm thinking about protecting that asset, who's our number one pillar. And when you think about that, it has to be holistically. It can't only be charts, and I got to add something else to that chart. Right? And in the morning, I got to add something else to the chart. I can't just tell you, okay, we have 17 arrivals, 25 arrivals. No. I got to ask, hey, how you doing? How's everyone? Is it well with you? And I think the pandemic caused us to be able to come around people and pull people together, because we see how much people matter.
Man, like that's everything. That's, in fact, like as a leader, there's three kind of main pillars that drive our lives, right? Our self-care, taking care of ourselves, our organization or business or whatever space we're supposed to be leading, and then our relationships, right? And the glue to all of this is God, our creator, right?
Sure.
All those three are in tandem at all times. The relationships we have with people, the organization we run it, and then ourselves. And you can't have a great relationship with yourself without connecting to the creator.
Sure.
For me, that's been the biggest thing for me is I really have to look holistically, like at all areas need attention. Now, I was able to skate by without giving attention to every area of my life. I was skating by, but I was skating by. And because of it, I had to reset my thinking and like, okay, number one, as a father, as a matter of fact, when the pandemic began, Nicoya, she was pregnant. And we were expecting. So I'm already on heightened alert. Going out of the house every day. And then coming back, want to make sure I don't bring anything home. Want to make sure that my wife is safe, make sure she's healthy. Like physical health never meant so much to me, ever. And I know that I focused a lot of time and energy on myself. I love to learn. So I always would be reading. I love just to consume, not just random information, but information that's pertinent, things that my personal growth. But then also professionally, like I wouldn't even say a hobby. You know, like athletes, LeBron James, like he's here to play basketball. I know I'm here to do business and run businesses. Like that's what I'm here to do. And so I always invested a lot of time in those areas. But my physical, I didn't, especially after high school. Like for me, I was a teen dad, so my daughter, she was already born when I graduated, so I had to start working. So it was like, okay, we gotta we're going to the gym and working out and eating. I had to make the money. And so I have been so much more intentional about just every area of my life. I did the spiritual care, I'm faithful and devoted, in church, reading the Bible, praying. That I spent a lot of time in that area. But I realized just how out of balance, not just me, but I started looking at my colleagues, people I love, clients I work with. I saw like really how out of balance we are really about just our care for ourselves. And so I believe that being a father also, because my oldest graduated. I'm a college age student. I'm a college age, like I can't even think, you know what I'm saying? Like what? Armando, I know you like we have daughters that's college age.
I there with you, bro.
I'm just
I am right behind you guys.
She's right behind us.
Senior. Lord, right. I'm getting ready. I'm not ready for it.
Right.
And I'm getting ready for it at the same time,
Right. You have a son.
Right.
And so I want to say, as we kind of wrap this up, to talk to parents, man. I feel really in my heart for parents, because parents are really the glue of all society. Like, parents have the most important role.
For sure.
Listen, man, and so as parents, like you know, I have 4 sisters and a brother. Okay, and I was the oldest. So as the oldest sibling, the relationship I had with my parents was different than the ones that my siblings had.
For sure.
Mhm.
And as a parent, the kind of relationship I have with my oldest is different than all the other ones.
Mhm.
But still, like, the blessing of being a sibling is like aunts and uncles. Right. That's another thing I really love, is being an uncle. I love being an uncle. Right.
Mhm.
My nieces and nephews love me, man. I love
Like
being
the
an uncle.
cool aunt and the cool
That is
uncle.
me. Yes, man. I'm the cool
Yeah.
uncle. Right. So I would like to for you guys to kind of step, if you're not a real life uncle or auntie, like auntie uncle mode, right? What would something you would like to say to our nieces and nephews that's out here listening, right? Because it's parents that like, hey, listen to them, listen to me, listen to them. You may listen, right? Like, what's something you would like to say to like the next generation, right?
Wow.
Of leaders that are coming up into this space.
Wow.
So the first thing that I always say to mine is be your true, authentic self. Because they are like sponges, right? And can be influenced by anything and everyone. And so I always try to tell mine, just be yourself and know who you are and know your worth, so that you're not easily swayed one way or the other. That's a lot of, kind of what I usually try to tell my nieces and great nephews and things like that.
What? You're what?
Yeah, believe it
Oh,
or
boy.
not, I have a lot of great nieces and nephews.
What?
Yes, I do. and I try to tell them that, because their minds, they're exposed to so much more nowadays. And the exposure is good and it's bad. And so, I've seen, just with my interactions with them, just trying to make sure that they understand their self-worth, that they're a child of God, and and to really try to figure out like where you want to go. If you love art, then kill art. Okay. Don't get caught up in the norms and the stereotypes and things like that. Like, if you're a loud, bossy girl, be that loud, bossy girl, because that's what I was, because, hey, we become bosses,
Right.
period. Right. So that's the kind of, so yeah, just be yourself, and don't try to be, everybody's not a leader, everybody's not a follower, but just understand where you are, what your strengths are, and then just stay in that lane and blaze it, just kill it. That's usually what I would tell my nieces and nephews, or any, young one, Gen Z, what are they, Gen X gens, what millennial.
I don't even think they know. I don't think they know either. Somebody else gonna tell us what we are anyway.
I know, right?
That's true. Yeah. So that's probably what I would tell them. Be you.
I love that.
And be good at being you.
Yeah.
Period.
That's awesome.
Period. Like they say, period, right?
I love that.
I don't try to use the lingo.
Right. Me.
I don't do it. I don't do it.
What about you, Armando? What would you say, man?
For me,
you a cool uncle? Are you the cool uncle? What kind of uncle are you?
I don't know. I don't know how cool I am. I gotta ask them. So for me, I can say something that sounds weird, right? Okay. And that thing is, you could have it all, right? And I'll explain what I mean by that. Sometimes I think young kids in particular, they believe that it's either or. I either have to be cool and do everything my friends say do, and then have a bad relationship with my mother and father, or have bad grades or not. They don't, sometimes they don't get that I could be a good student, I have good grades, and I could still have fun. I can still be funny. I can still enjoy life. Like you can have it all. You could do all of the things that you want to do and still be a good student and still be respectful, still be nice, and you could still be funny.
Right.
Right? You can still be cool. Right? You could still achieve and be in the in crowd. You don't have to sacrifice anything. And sometimes I think that they feel that way. And so when Dr. Marley talks about being your authentic self, like you good enough, right? Like you don't need to lower yourself, right? I saw a quote that says, if you have to always be the bigger person, I like the quote, if you have to always be the bigger person, then you need to stop hanging around these small people, right?
Yeah.
And so you can have it all. You could do and accomplish all of your dreams and do all of it, but you just got to understand that just make the main thing, right?
Yeah.
And when it's time for the next thing, you could have that next thing. You know, we always used to say back in the day, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yes, you can.
The problem is you can't eat it and still have it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the problem. But you can have your cake and eat it too, man. So
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
it.
you can.
That's great. Wow, man. Wow. See, and it was very, you guys, your perspective on this is unique because Dr. Mallory, you literally have spent years working with young people, different phases of life, right? Armando, as a man, as a leader, like you've been a father for a while. You have perspective like that. Me, I say, I have unique too. We all have some unique. I know, like I told you, gave you that LeBron James example. Like I know, like I wish that when I was that age, there was, how they have AAU teams, sports teams that you can put kids in, that that they're gonna be, even if they suck, right? People put their kids in these, and they fight with the coaches for their baby to play when your baby suck. You know what I'm saying? Let my baby play. Even if it's going to jeopardize the whole team winning, you want your baby to play, right? I always wish, like, I didn't always wish, but at this point in my life, I wish that there was something like that for like business heads, like I was, like some kind of like AAU, not necessarily, but some sort of like space that was like, hey, I see you with the hustle. Because, like, I've had it. And I know it's young people out here that have hustle. I love it. I know it. I can see it's always been in all societies. It's people. And that word hustle, I say that some people hold that word in contempt, right? What I mean by hustle is drive.
Right.
Inner drive to achieve beyond normal. That's what I mean by hustle, okay? People that have that, they end up falling in all kinds of places, right? All kinds of spaces. End up applying that in all different spaces in life that don't necessarily produce the best possible. It makes something where I'm talking from my experience. I've So as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you guys.
Don't do it.
Part of where I'm at is, as I'm thinking about this, because that was not a scripted question I asked y'all. I was thinking about, like, how would I answer that? And as an uncle and as a dad, I really agree with both of y'all. like I wish somebody was there to say like, yo, I see you. That there was a clear another like standard. Somebody that was like not lame. Like I grew up in church, I was Christian. You know what I'm saying? And we grew up in holiness church. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't listen to secular music at home. In the house. We didn't say listen to secular music at all. Matter of fact, depending on how deep you was, you didn't watch TV, you didn't watch, you know what I'm saying? That's,
right.
Now my parents were flexible, okay? But I was going somewhere with this. Where was I going with this? How I grew up, and when I wanted to listen to hip hop music, right? The hip hop music that we could listen to was the Christian rap hip hoppers, right? Christian hip hoppers. They call it like holy hip hop, but it was lame. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't even a
Right.
equivalent. It wasn't even apples to apples. I'm not gonna say no name, but those guys, they were pillars, they were trailblazers. You know what I'm saying? But it was lame, right? I want to say that nowadays, young people, I'm not talking about even just being a Christian or anything like that, but whatever you want to do, if you know like you're a hustler, right? There are some people out here that will teach you and bring you under their wings that are not lame. Guide you in the right way, and whatever space it is that you're interested in. Something that I didn't have. We didn't have the internet back then when we were younger. We didn't have where you could literally search for whatever you want to at any point in time. Any second. I do it, so it's something I think about. Let me go over that real quick. And I learn it on the fly. I want you guys to know whatever you want to learn to be and become, like, it's people that are doing it that will teach you, and people that have good hearts. Make sure that your heart stays good. Now, I don't know where you get your gauge of good is, whatever that, but good, make sure it's good. You're like real life pure good. Within all of us, we have a understanding of what good and not good is, good and bad is, right? Sure. Find those people that are good and stay close to them, even though they may seem lame. I'm telling you, it's like, this is not like the music I had to listen to back then. Them people was like for real lame, right?
Listen at you.
Not just on the, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I mean, right?
Right,
hey,
right.
Sure,
don't
man.
judge a book by the cover.
I get you on that, and I mean, I think it's important that you use that and you talk about the people who are not lame. I mean, because I think sometimes that's what people, especially young people, feel like you have to fall in this particular category in order to do this thing. And see, y'all live in America, so I get y'all get this better than me, right? Everybody who I grew up next to is Black. I don't understand racism. Right? I don't understand racism, but I do understand that if my son is articulate, they tell him that he acting white, right? And I have to still tell him it's okay to speak proper.
Right.
You too.
You could still be cool and decent. You don't have to fall to a standard and lower your standard, not be articulate, right? Not use your vocabulary because people label you. You could still speak properly,
right?
Still be cool and still be on top. Don't diminish, right? And so when you talk about, people believe that, okay, you got to be lean to fit into this, or you got to be this particular thing to fit into this category. And that's why I always say, like you talk with Dr. Mallory, you talk about do you, be you, right?
Yeah.
And you can have it all, man. You could conquer this. I mean, Jeff Bezos just went to the moon, bro. Right? And right? I mean, when I read about Elon Musk and these guys them build a rocket from reading a book, right?
Yeah.
And so you can have
right.
have it all, man. You don't have to try to fit into a category. So what Dr. Mallory talk about, you don't have to be your authentic self, and you can have it all, man. And I I wish somebody had pulled me over and said that to me, right?
Mhm.
Even, you know, as a young man growing up, you wanted to conquer the world, right? And you know, there's this thing that says, how do you eat an elephant? Right? It's one bite at a
Yeah,
time.
one bite at a time. Yes.
Right? You don't try to swallow the whole thing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Many times young people don't want to eat it one bite at a time. Right? You can
Yes.
eat the whole thing, but one bite at a time.
Right. I think too, you know, when you think about the whole lane, because I hear it all the time. I have a 17 to 15-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, and their thing is they do feel like they have to fit in, you know, and oh mom, you can't do that, or you know, you'll be perceived this way, or if you don't do a certain thing, then you're not, you know, hip, or you know, you're just old and you just
Lame, bro.
antiquated, you know,
Okay, you lame,
antiquated,
bro.
lame, mom, with the big L up here, you know, even the motion with the L in front of the forehead. But it's really, really something, because that's a lot of, you know, it's for kids that age, it's a lot of pressure. You know, it's just so much pressure, the social pressure, you know, the peer pressure of just trying to fit into the norm of whatever the norm is in that moment, really.
In that space, in that
Yeah.
particular, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's so when you're trying to, you know, teach your child that, and your nieces and nephews something like that, and hopefully it resonates, you know, and it sticks with them, you know, that no, just do you, okay?
Mhm.
Because that's all you can do. Don't try to do anybody else. Do you.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the world
and
needs
what
you.
you're saying is so true with you know, kids, they're not trying to be dealing with you if they think you lame, you know. You know what I'm saying? At
Yeah.
all.
Right. All right. That's great. That's great. Well, man, this is I mean, we could talk, all of us could talk. As y'all can see, we this is we can keep going. But we have other things we have to do. Y'all have life, y'all have families. I have life, I have a family, and we have a big day tomorrow.
Yes,
And
yes, sir.
so I wanna kind of wrap this up, but I want to let you guys know. So tomorrow, again, the Power of One conference. Listen, if you guys have like nothing better to do, and when I say better, if you have nothing better than nothing to do than to connect with and grow, like learn some things that you didn't even know that you didn't know, that was stopping you from reaching that place you're supposed to go. Right? It's some people that you didn't know, some people you don't know right now, right? That are preventing you from reaching that space you're supposed to get to. It's some things you just don't know. We all have that, right? And I want to give you an opportunity, like join us this weekend for the Power of One conference. This is just two of the people that's going to be a part of this. Like we have literally 3 days, a 3-day experience that we create just for you. Just for you. Matter of fact, you go to our website, www.powerofoneconference.com. Go there right now. Matter of fact, we're on Zoom. I'm gonna share my screen and let you see what the website. Go to www.powerofoneconference.com right now. Check it out. Boom. Here you'll see. You'll find. Oh, look at us. This is just some of us. This will be here. Amazing event. Amazing opportunity. Videos there. Listen. Go to powerofoneconference.com. We extended our early bird special, doing a flash extension right now, so you can still get early bird discount for your ticket. Go join us. Listen, and we have a VIP experience that starts tomorrow, a totally exclusive experience all day. Well, not all day, I'm just joking, right? But because the information you're gonna get, it could take you all day to consume, right? But day one, which will be Friday, these are general sessions, the power of mindset, right? We'll be talking to speakers that's going to talk about how to get up in here, the power that your mind really have, right? And what happens when you put it in the right space, in the right direction, when you aim in the right place, when you aim at the right goals. Oh, that's where it begins, right? So that's day number 1. Day number 2, we're gonna wrap it up at we're gonna talk about how teamwork makes the dream work, because we all talk, it takes a village, but like, how do you build a team that works with you, helps you meet your goals, where you are, right? And then executing with excellent execution. That's what ties it all together. We have, listen, all day. The value price is not even worth it. It's not even worth you not to be there. Okay. Our VIP day, we have exclusive networking mixer that we're going to have where you can meet with people from around the world, get to speak to some of our speakers. We have a Power of One Summit, exclusive sessions. We have Dr. Rashad Ritchie, Destiny Inspire, Karina Dykes, Dr. Robert Watkins. We give exclusive sessions for VIPs. VIPs are not regular people. VIPs are people that are like real life serious about it. Like you always have wheat and tear that grow together. They all necessary. Nothing's bad with being tear, right? But we the ones that's gonna be those VIPs. If you need more, you look for more, you're those high achiever, you need that VIP pass. Okay. Like it's what you need. So I don't want anyone that is serious about thriving to not be able to attend this event. So join us. Any last parting words that you guys would like to say for anybody that may be on the fence, maybe thinking about an experience like we have lined up for them this weekend? Any last words you guys like to say to them?
Well, definitely, if you are thinking about stepping out and doing something new, if you want to strengthen what you already have, and you think you are not going in the right direction, or you just want to sharpen your skills, the Power of One conference is definitely where you need to be logged on for the next 3 days, for sure. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Absolutely.
What
about you?
That's like a radio announcer voice, man. Now, I just want to say this thing that it's in me, man. You know, Malcolm said everything, right? Like anything you wanted to anything that inspirational, Malcolm said it, right? But Malcolm X says that not because someone is sitting at a table means that they're taking part in the meal, right? So you don't just want to sit at the table in anything, in life, anything. You don't just want to sit at the table. You want to be taking part in the meal. And so in life, you don't just want to be living and surviving. You want to thrive. And I'm telling you that this conference is where you're going to learn some skills. I mean, and sharpen some skills. And you know, in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki said that, you know, rich people build networks, right? And everybody else look for work, right? You want to be this kind of people. If you're going to thrive, you want to build networks. And so this conference is the place to be. You want to come and I was already excited, but now I'm so excited to hear Dr. Marley. I'm absolutely excited to be a part of this. You don't want to miss it. I mean, come on, man. Like Jeff said, the ticket price. I don't. It's a giveaway.
Right. You can't.
People said that we were stupid. People said we're stupid for pricing it like that.
But you know, hey, you know what is good? You wanted to get into people's hands. You wanted to get into people's ears. You want the people to connect. And so I'm saying to people that take advantage of this stupid guy.
Please take advantage of me. I'm letting you take advantage of me.
Yeah,
I'm being the dummy, right?
Get the ticket. Be a part of the conference. And the last thing I want to say, man, if you're going to thrive in life, you know, in my presentation, I'll give you a sneak peek and all, man. It's some things you want to do in 3 things I can tell you. You gotta have a resolve, you gotta have resilience, and you gotta reimagine what your possibilities could be. So come on, man. Join the summit and let's thrive together.
That's right.
I love it. So listen, I thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I'm so happy and honored to, number one, call you my friends. My friends, you are people I call, you know, them times. I'm glad to have people like you in my life. If you guys don't have people like you, like this in your life, listen, you don't know what you're missing. I'm glad that you guys are my friends. I'm glad that you are killing it in your spaces. I'm glad that you have the heart to help other people. I'm so glad about that. I'm glad that you guys are listening to us and joining us for this episode of the Power of One podcast. And I hope and I pray that something that you heard struck a chord in you to jump off that cliff you're supposed to be jumping off of, right? to make that change, to make that decision, take that action that you know you're supposed to be taking. You already know it. You already know it. So go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it and call me in the morning. Let's talk about results, right? I'm Jeff Ingram. I love you guys so much. And remember, you create reality. Remember that, okay? I love y'all so much. We'll see you. Go get your tickets, powerofoneconference.com, powerofoneconference.com. I'll see y'all this weekend, all right? I love you. Thank you, Armando Rigby. Thank you, Dr. Katrina Mallory. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you.
See y'all
You're
next time, all
welcome.
right?
Thank you. Thank you.